Hi, my name is Matt D. Talford. I'm the author of two award-winning books, From Fear to Faith, A Survivor Story, and Stuck in an Elevator. And today, I'll be reading a fable titled, The Man and the Wood. A man came into the woods one day with an axe in his hand and begged all the trees to give him a small branch which he wanted for a particular purpose. The trees were good-natured, and each one gave him one of their branches. What did the man do? He fixed the branches into the head of his axe and soon set to work, cutting down tree after tree. It was then that the trees saw just how foolish they had been in giving their enemy the means to destroy themselves. That was The Man and the Wood. Now, what lessons can we learn from that? Well, there are a couple. Number one, first and foremost, the trees, being so good-natured and so eager to help, failed to recognize a small detail, that the man asking them for a branch was holding an axe. Okay, so that's one mistake the trees made. The other mistake that the trees made is that they failed to ask a couple of very critical questions that we should all ask when someone we don't know comes into our space and asks us to give them something of value. And on that note, perhaps the trees didn't see the value in their own branches. However, back to the point. The trees failed to ask the critical question number one, which was, what do you plan to do with these branches that we're going to give you, that we may give you? So, one, what is your purpose for these branches? Number two, how does our giving you these branches benefit you? And how does it benefit us? So, those are some of the mistakes that the trees made. And so the moral of the story is, don't let your good nature cost you your life. Always ask some critical questions. And I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and my boot camp drill sergeant always said this to us: pay attention to the small details, because they're the ones that often trip us up. That was a nice way of saying what he said to us back then. So the moral of the story, the lesson here is, always ask the question, find out whether someone's request is selfish in nature or if there's some mutual benefit. And always see the value in yourself and what you have to bring. And finally, I think there's one bigger lesson here that I didn't touch on, and that is sometimes an enemy will use us against us. Sometimes your enemy, that's exactly what the man did here. He took branches from the trees and used them against them. So, there's so many lessons here, but I'm sort of out of time. So I'll just say this. Also keep this in mind. Obviously, this man coming into these woods holding an axe knew where he could find some wood. So he knew the trees. The trees didn't necessarily know him, but they were so eager to help that they failed to ascertain what the man's purpose was. And we've certainly seen this played out throughout world history on several occasions. But those are stories for other days, as they say. For this fable, The Man in the Wood, I'm Matt D. Talford, and it was my pleasure to read to you tonight. I hope you learned something from it. I know I did. And that's a fabulous fable.